Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Price, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is the third volume in a report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesis adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee and players Ryan LaPlante as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt as Attikus Viz, Laura Hamstra as Eli Sharp, and Della Borovic as Morgan Rawls. My report shows that the party has nearly killed Cainhurst. Attikus is prepared to die if it allows him to kill the corrupted Inquisitor. Valentyne is allowing acid to burn through him as he covers Morgan. Eli rejoined the fight and crippled Cainhurst's wings, and Morgan is desperately trying to contact Toby. Can our heroes kill Cainhurst, and if so, can they survive the feral Nid reprisal? Find out next in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
From a note scribbled in the margin of a trooper handbook. And remember, if the Xenos isn't dead, you should probably punch it some more. Underlined 3 times with a spatter of blood. The Mercy for the Pure has cracked in half as the surges sent through it by Kotov finally reach their crescendo. You hear that sickening, deep, low kind of electrical sound. If you've ever heard a generator blow, it is a spooky fucking sound. And it's just like kind of a deep, like pulsing thrum through a lot of the like badly as we've established, very unsafe, definitely not up to code cabling. Followed by just a series of electrical explosions that rend the center of the ship. And it begins to crack in half. Now, the good news is, this is a big fucking ship. So when it breaks in half, it's not like, the Titanic moment. It's like all the moments leading up to that, where it's just creaking and bending. So you have a few moments before everything gets completely fucked. But already, things are starting to fly through the air. You can see random hybrids being like sucked up and out through rips and sort of like torn down hallways. But generally speaking, the Mercy for the Pure is on its way out. Luckily, you all came in 0G gear, so you're actually pretty well equipped for this, more so than the mob. Unfortunately, their biology is also pretty fucked up, so they're not having too hard a time with the swirling winds whipping around them as the atmosphere is rapidly vented. So that this all occurred on Cainhurst's move with his despair. So that drops us back into our standard order with our erstwhile chain axe wielding pal Eli.
Oh, that's me.
Surely it is.
Is there anything we need to do, like activating our mag boots, or are they just like good?
Well, I mean, like nothing in 40K is automatic, but I'm not going to make you spend a maneuver or anything to do it. I think it's safe to say that you're just able to tap your heels 3 times together and say there's no place like
Eli's
Terra.
Just like, mag boots on.
All right, so you lock on your mag boots. You are sort of around behind as you've just chain-sworded through one of Cainhurst's wings. The massive Goliath continues to writhe and swat at your buds. What do you do?
Well, I hit him again. It's just repeat motion.
I see you also read that manual.
Yes.
All right.
I did.
Good stuff gets around. Okay. So melee attacks, so you're looking at 2 purple.
Hell yeah.
But he's a douchebag, so that's 2 red and a purple.
Yeah.
I am gonna spend one of them. Okay, I did it again. I've got 4 and 1 for you guys. Is that what Ryan has? Because Ryan normally tracks these better than me.
I have 3 and 2 for us.
Son of a bitch. I have that written so many times.
I had 3 and 2 as well.
Okay, I literally feel like that fucking Jim Carrey movie where he just writes, 27? He just writes 27 everywhere.
No.
I have 3 and 2 written so many
it's the number
goddamn
23, so I think you're actually correct. It's 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Nay. Woo. I'm a method actor now. Okay. I'm going to draw a triangle around it this time so I know it's for real.
Oh, shit.
That'll hold up for
so then I'm
one
going to spend
moment.
one to bring that up to 3 red.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, we'll spend one to not ruin your triangle.
Thanks, buddy. It was going to be a triangle of sadness, but now it's a triangle of happiness.
Yeah, let's upgrade this because, like, also, I mean, 0G is also nowhere we really want to be. Even if we have all the equipment.
Say, Cora doesn't have mag boots. Do you, Morgan?
Nope, me and Cora do not have mag boots.
There we go.
Oh, shit.
Bye.
Hey, we're hanging it. We're hanging.
Yeah, initiative is keeping you alive for another few minutes. All right, so Eli, your boots activate. I assume with that hard metal chunk, like in Face Off, and or First Contact, and you go to take your swing. So you've upgraded your dice. I've upgraded my dice. I'm not going to give any 0G penalties yet, because with your mag boots and the sort of atmosphere just beginning to vent, it's like things around you are getting chaotic. But I feel like in the immediate moment,
is gravity still active, or has that gone too?
All the electrical systems are failing, so the artificial gravity is going. Yeah, I'll just say it's gone. It's gone. Of course, it's
gone too.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The lights are also like blinking out. So you've got just those like emergency battery powered spooky red spinning lights that always show up at the end of these boss fights.
Yeah.
There's no alarm klaxon because it shorted out and exploded. So no setbacks for that. I'll give you a boost for just how many people are wailing on Cainhurst right now. Sweet. It really does limit his ability to duck and weave a little bit when there's a man tearing into him and punching his innards. And what the hell? I'll give you one for this feeling a bit like a breach action. This is something like,
oh yeah, man. Also, it's just one of those things. It's like he hit him, it blow landed successfully. He's just gonna strike. It's like chopping down a tree, you know?
It's the same spot.
Yeah.
Chopping down a brutal Cronenberg monster tree.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say a metaphor Eli himself would not understand. But yeah.
That is very true and very funny.
It's like chopping down, I don't know,
an orc.
The enemy.
I don't know. You dig deep enough into the Black Library or like White Dwarf magazines, I'm sure there's a fucking tree people race somewhere they made up in like second edition. It's just like a deep shame species. They're like, ooh, we're sorry. So maybe you fought those assholes.
Yeah. All right.
You were Groot, chainsawed, you know? Okay. That's about it from my side. Yeah.
Sweet. I got nothing more.
Do you have any like gear or anything that would add?
Nope.
And Cainhurst has no defenses we've established. So go for it.
Baby. 5 advantages and a triumph.
Woo! All right.
Hell yeah.
So what is the damage on the chain axe?
Pierce 1, damage 9.
9, and then plus the 1 for the triumph. So
and
10?
then crit is 3, and I'm vicious 4.
Ooh. Oh. All right. Well, that's a lot of things that can happen. Okay. Well, let's leave the triumph till last. So that seems appropriate. I assume you're going to trigger your critical.
Oh.
With your,
but of course.
Your advantage to spare.
But of course.
So
I'll trigger that, and I've got 2 advantages left over.
4, so we're going to be adding 40.
I was going to say plus 10 for each critical injury already suffered that is untreated, which is every crit injury he's taken so far.
Oh, shit.
Which I think is 2.
Ooh.
Yep. He got shot for 1. He got wing smashed for 1. So probably 2, maybe. I don't know. So there were some that were I think 2 probably. So plus 60.
Nice.
Can you roll 1 on your D100s, 2 on your 2D10s? I just somehow need that to be possible.
All right. 14.
Plus 60.
Let's jump that up. Those are rookie numbers. We need to bump those up.
All right. That's funny. Okay. The injury he gets is hamstrung. He loses his free maneuver until the critical injury is healed, which is, I think, highly appropriate given that you're trying to chop him down like a tree. There's only so many things you can do once you've chopped off a wing. So I feel like it's just chain axe into the Achilles and just driving away as blood spatters up at you, and because you didn't generate any threat, you managed to not the acid blood. You, I guess, get a limb that isn't infused with acid blood. Just getting sprayed with like black ichor as you hack through this. But we still got some fun shit to do here because you're like rolling like a mad fiend. Laura, what would you like to do with your triumph? Do you want pitches, or do you have a cool thing you'd like? I have a pitch for you if you want one.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. Knowing the equipment of your compatriots as well as you do, I think you would be acutely aware that no matter how many times you've told her to wear a pair of fucking mag boots, she just doesn't wear, or sorry, I guess more appropriate character, frackin' mag boots. She's just never worn a pair of frackin' mag boots. So I think you'd be acutely aware that like Morgan doesn't have a seatbelt. So I would posit as your triumph, you can quickly toss her like a cable from your belt that she can basically tether to.
Cool. I was going to make a recommendation along those lines. I just wanted to know if you would give me more.
And off of the end of the tether come 55 Space Marines who are in your pocket of holding. Cool. Well, no, that's as much as I was going to give you. Do you have any modifications on that? I mean, if you had a version, I'm also happy to hear yours.
It's like, basically like, I imagine it's, is it like a grapple gun almost? Like,
sure, yeah, by that. Or like,
do you have a grapple gun?
Well, no, but I'm just
Morgan
like,
has
how
a grapple
is this
gun.
tethered?
Okay.
I have a grapple gun.
So either Morgan fires the grapple gun and you just know to catch it, or what I was imagining was in the like the climbers picks from the new Tomb Raider games, like that on the end of bungee cord, and just like hucking it at her in like a you hang on to this kind of way.
Let's do the Morgan grapple, if that's okay. So I would like yell to her. It's like, Morgan, tether yourself, and just like basically like holding. I've got like one hand on the axe like embedded in Cainhurst still, and just like reach out my other hand.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, if I could do that with the triumph. Morgan, honestly, Morgan's idea ever since knowing she didn't have grab boots, she was planning to use Eli as her grab boots if that was necessary. But
it would track to me that you've like drilled this. This seems like a thing. You guys had a lot of time at that bar. I feel like this is like several pints in.
We have drunkenly done some weird shit. That's true.
Yeah.
And Valentyne, standing to your left, mag booted to the floor, about 4 inches off your shoulder, sees you reach out as the sniper and tether yourself to someone involved in close combat with a giant Tyranid, and just be like, we're going to have a talk later about tactical decisions. And he's just going to keep doing what he's doing, but just enjoying the absurdity of the moment.
Yeah.
Look, if you rolled the triumph, things could be different. But this was an Eli Sharp triumph.
Honestly, like probably the last time he did something like this, though, was like probably back in the bar when he got like super drunk and like forced the patrons to do like a shirts versus skins boarding action and like different scenarios.
Shirts versus skins boarding action.
That's very good.
Oh man! Also, knowing who hung out at your bar, that would have been a hell of a night.
Yeah,
I feel like that's our Mass Effect.
I feel
Citadel
like people
DLC.
were up for it.
Oh, 100%. And they were fucking terrible at it.
Shirts versus skins.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that a lot. But yeah, I dig the Valentyne gym take to Attikus as like the two tactical people, and Attikus is just like soaked in blood, punching a thing to death, and
yeah, you know, Valentyne is just gym taking to an invisible camera, like he's just in combat.
Eugene turns back at distance.
Yeah.
He always knows when you need to do one of those. Okay, cool. So you two are tethered now. You do a bunch of damage. Cainhurst is, I must admit, he's been up for like 2 whole episodes, which is quite something. He's looking very rough. He's not looking great anymore. At this point, it is just like frothing fury with no ability to speak because of the missing jaw and the tongue situation, and just like almost in a weird way achieving the evolutionary leap he wanted by just like going feral and kind of becoming a Tyranid that's disconnected from a hive mind in a weird way. So like, good work, Cainhurst. Reach for that star. On the other hand, maybe die. Let's see if Morgan can do something about that. Morgan, you're up.
Morgan's gonna try. Yeah. Honestly, I was thinking I would tether myself to Valentyne, but when Eli shouted, it was like, all right, second nature. Also, Morgan had a slight moment of hesitation of thinking like, if I tether myself to Valentyne and make a sniper rifle shot and that some blowback fucks him up, I might be in trouble. So easier to mess with Eli than mess with any of Valentyne's business going on here. But yeah, Morgan will stay on her one knee, and I'm trying to just take a shot at the giant hole that Attikus made of his face, hoping to hit spine or something in there. Just there's a bullseye. It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's just an anatomy drawing that's just like, here there be dragons and a bunch of question marks. It's like, well,
something's in there.
Probably something that can hurt in there. All right. So I believe we'd established that this is, given your rifle's range and everything else, probably a 2, right. I think is what we went with previously.
Yep.
Get a setback for shooting into combat. You're tethered, but you're also not mag booted down. So I am going to give you a setback for just like starting to float off the deck.
Yeah.
So there's that. But you also get all your like 1,000 bonuses for being one with the gun. There are many others like it, but this one is yours. Without you, your gun is nothing. Without you, gun. No, I did that one already.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't know how many of those you drop, but a bunch.
Okay, I'm dropping one of the setbacks then.
Okay,
taking
great.
my other gun boost.
Cool. It will not surprise you to know that I will be spending a story point to bring your difficulty up to 3 red.
Okay. Then I will also spend a story point so you're not redrawing your triangle.
I'm going to underline it.
All right. Oh, please, gun. Please, gun, good. Please.
Oh my god, I can't wait for this recoil in 0G.
Oh, God. It's... All right. All right. This is what's happening. 3 successes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 advantages. And wouldn't you know it, a despair shooting my gun in 0G.
Pardon me while I enjoy this. Nom, 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 nom.
I mean, maybe he dies.
I hope he dies. I can hope he dies. So
that's, Cainhurst, I love you. I hate you. I love you. I hate you. I'm so in such despair.
I was gonna say, what's your crit rating? Let's find out what happens.
Yeah.
See, I can do another crit. I got crit 3, pierce 1, damage 9. So that will be 12 damage plus pierce 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can do a crit and then pass on a boost to Valentyne and then a boost to Attikus.
All right, let's see what this crit nonsense. Is your rifle vicious anything?
Nope, it's just crit 3.
All right, but you still can add 30 because he's already taken 3.
I gotta procure some dice because I didn't pull out my dice.
Because he's winded. Now he's winded and
You can do it on
hamstrung.
your
He's
dice
so
roller,
tired. He's
Del.
just doing such a big sit.
Yeah, he's just like me doing 3 stairs. You know, he's winded, he's hamstrung.
His wings are
Probably
broken.
one other thing.
All right.
Yeah, it's just the gray die on the dice roller.
Yeah, great. Thanks, dice roller. It's a fucking...
Welcome down.
It's a fucking 2. Just 2.
2 for a total of 32. Like Tyler rolling a stealth check as Quinny in our other game. Stunned. The target is staggered until the end of the next turn. Good luck, buddy.
That sounds
I like that.
He's staggering on his torn hamstrings. The poor guy. He's going to hurt so much.
He might fall on his bum again. All right. So, Morgan, you kind of like desperately are trying to like pull a shot, and all you see is just like a writhing mess in there. So as you kind of like take your breath in before exhaling to fire, you actually pull your eye off the scope and just kind of like look down the barrel at the sort of writhing mass. and remembering what he's done to your crew, to the only family you've known, to this like possible new family, as well as just all this fuckery. You exhale into the rapidly escaping air of the chamber and fire. And yeah, you don't know where the spine is. Is it even a spine anymore? Who can say? But what no one can disagree with is the effect the bullet tearing through whatever that mass that used to be a mouth is as you blow out the back of his skull, severing vital connectors, and just the whole body writhes in a variety of different ways as it kind of like keens and curls and is stunned. It's very stunned. I cannot stress enough how stunned it is. Before kind of letting out a final garbled screech. And with the despair just spasming kind of up and backward, almost as though it's meaning to fly on its ragged wings. Unfortunately, as the metal around you rends and tears, he is pulled up into the lack of gravity in the air. And the despair brings Attikus, who is just fucking elbow deep in Cainhurst, up with him. So Attikus is now floating away on the corpse of Cainhurst, who I assume he's still punching the shit out of, having not got to his turn to activate his boots. But you can pass that one boost forward, so like aces. And Inquisitor Cainhurst is dead.
Yay!
Yeah, finally.
Good job, Morgan.
I'll celebrate later.
Yeah. Things are terrible right now.
I'll hold you to that, Valentyne. You are up. You see this happen. As soon as his brain dies, immediately like the hybrids throughout just go fucking nuts. They're attacking each other. It's just like, it's kind of what you were doing with disrupting him before is now just happening en masse to all of them. So there's just like a full slaughter going on. It will spill over onto you in a couple rounds, but for now it's fairly self-contained because, you know, there's still things that you can rip and tear nearby. So they're just going to work on that first. What do you do?
Great. Valentyne would like to clear the acid off of his fucking face. That is like number one, is get that shit off of his face now. He has been suffering through that during this combat. But yeah, it's just, what do I got to roll to try to stop melting?
I think given that we're kind of like pseudo out of combat, if that's just the action you're taking, I think I can just give that to you because it's like nothing is attacking you directly right now. So it doesn't really make sense to me that you wouldn't just like, you know, deal with.
Yeah, so he will clear his face and then yell to Kotov, who's hiding in the corner, and be like, all right, so savior pods, where would those be on this ship? Otherwise, how do we close these doors?
Savior pods being like...
Savior pods are the 40K equivalent of like the little like life pod.
Life pods?
Yeah. I can't remember the fuck
escape pods.
Yes, they are the escape pods of any other franchise, but I've heard them called savior pods in 40K.
I like that a lot.
Nice.
It is like appropriately like weird and bleak. Yeah. Okay. So he just kind of like pokes out from behind the box and just like, I don't know, like fires into the swirl of combat at distance as he just goes, we could check the captain's quarters. Maybe the bridge probably has some. There's all those pods we found downstairs, but they're more for cryogenic. And he like just fires wildly. He's doing the G.I. Joe thing where he's like firing over everyone's heads, but he's trying.
Valentyne is just putting on his like void breather mask and just yelling like, everyone to the bridge.
Yep. So Attikus, you're drifting away on a giant dead monster. You hear Valentyne kind of yell his orders through your comms, which are no longer being jammed as the electronics have blown out in the ship.
Okay.
You can see kind of the, I was going to call it a coterie again. You can see the retinue falling back towards the bridge. You, however, are far enough off the ground that just activating your boots won't like drop you back down. What do you do?
Is there a wall or ceiling that my boots could mag to that would be closer? I could try and jump to?
Yeah.
Low gravity?
It won't be closer to the bridge, but basically the corpse is being gradually pulled sort of towards the ruined trauma wing, which is kind of, for our purposes, if the bridge is south, this is kind of on the west. So it's being like pulled towards a shred in the ship that way.
Okay.
So you could like hop off there, or if you were trying for like a for lack of a better term, a dead space, like push off and then mag boot to closer to the bridge.
Just
you could try
the closest surface, yeah.
So you want the closest surface or the closest to the bridge? So one will be easier but further away, or you can do a more difficult athletic leap to try and get you closer, but it will be a harder roll.
I have faith in my athletics. Let's go for getting to the bridge. That was the order, so let's get to the bridge.
All right. Single-minded devotion of Attikus comes through again. Okay. So we're going to call this a difficulty of 4. Because he's a nemesis, it doesn't matter. He's dead. So that's just 4 purple. There's going to be athletics and brawn, because this is literally just like springboarding off this fucko and seeing if you can like space leap.
Right.
I'm going to say I'm going to give you a setback for the grasping hands of the spasming body, as this entire thing is like you have human hands and alien hands grabbing you and then kind of releasing, but it's enough to tangle you up a little bit. None of them are like, he's not actively trying to grab you, it's just death spasms as all these various limbs fire off their last kind of moments here. I will give you a boost for the mag boots, because I think like if you it's a horseshoe and hand grenades thing. If you can get close enough, you can still kind of make some magic happen.
Okay.
And I think that's it. I'm not going to spend any story points on this because I like my triangle. Did you want to spend any story points on this?
No. I'm okay, I think. Famous last words. I'm ready to roll.
All right, let's kick it.
Yeah, we're okay. What is this thing? That is, it must be a threat. Sorry, the legend isn't showing me what each symbol is, and I had forgotten. 4 successes, 1 threat.
Okay. So yeah, you fly through the air with the greatest of ease, like the flying Attikus on the horrible 0G space trapeze. You kind of like, again, it's just, this is weirdly almost mechanical for you. It's just kind of like dropping into a low squat and then springing off. And I think doing the usual like big arm out to grab. So you manage that. You kind of soar away from the body as it's sort of pulled towards the gap. You arc downward. You slam into the ground. In terms of the threat, I think the image of you kind of like rocketing down is enough to kind of attract the horde a bit. There's a bit of that, like, this is the biggest, scariest thing we can see, so it's time to kill it. So a few of the closer ones kind of look to you and begin to converge on you rather quickly, but you have landed successfully and will be able to book it towards the bridge on your next round.
I have to take some strain for that. 2 strain for every action.
So winded.
There we go. On the brink, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be on the brink. But then I took an arrow to the back of my head and it exploded. Now I'm drifting towards a gap in the ship and I'm dead.
Yay!
Good. Cool. Top of the round. Not Cainhurst no more. Eli.
It me. So Valentine's been like, bridge?
Get to the bridge.
Well then, is Cainhurst clearly dead?
I mean, the body is doing like twitchy, convulsive things, but I think watching the horde lose its collective mind should signal to you that he is dead. I can tell you as the GM, he is very dead. From looking at him, though, it actually doesn't look like he is, because he's just like, because there's so many different neuropathways rigged up inside him.
Yeah.
He's just got a lot of like neurons firing, things twitching and moving, but there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's literally just a body going through the motions.
Okay. Eli, he'd like to kind of turn and go to the, like, start moving to the bridge, but like basically just stomp on Cainhurst's head with his boots on his way out.
Cainhurst is floating away.
Then he's not going to do that.
Want to like throw a shoe at him, like
one of his heads
task?
that was left behind.
Eli, then in that case, Eli has like.
I can give you something to stomp on. There is a mutated chunk of chest that has a rosette kind of like horribly fused into it. It would be unremovable and thus unusable as a fun rosette for you. But definitely a symbol of Cainhurst and his reign if you want to like stomp something into dust.
Yeah. So Eli kind of like sees Cainhurst floating away, and it's like there's a bit of a moment of like God like just want to like finish it and like pulp him into nothingness. But his training takes over. He understands that's not feasible. And as he turns and like kind of tries to like basically reel Morgan to like be able to like hold her arm a little bit more securely, he will stomp on that chest piece bit.
Nice. It doesn't give you full solace,
no,
but
it
it's
doesn't.
something.
No, it's like, no, it's not. It's like no, it's not. It's not good.
It's fine.
God.
I can't imagine this leaving any scars on any of Morgan or Eli. This is
so
gonna be great.
mad.
Are you though, or are you kind of happy? Just a little bit happy.
I'm
It's
not.
fine. Don't worry.
I'm not
be happy.
happy.
Morgan's smiling. It's infectious. All right. So you begin to stomp towards the bridge. Morgan, you
Yes.
successfully shot Cainhurst right in his stupid face. What do you do?
Yeah, Morgan, and once she's reeled into Eli and he grabs her arm, she will just kind of like monkey up and kind of be on his shoulder. There's no gravity. So she'll just kind of be leaning like up top on his shoulder and like he can walk. He's doing the walking. She's looking around. Yeah, a last glance at twitchy Cainhurst, but I think she will feel better once they are out of this place and maybe they can watch it explode from space. That would be nice. But the last thing she's doing as Eli is booking it out is go to her microbead and just, Cora, we are leaving. Do you copy?
And you just hear kind of like a staccato scream and the sound of a gun firing. That's it.
Yeah. And then just back to Valentyne. Is this fine with you, Inquisitor?
We're doing what we can. There's not a great deal of options. What I would say is if you could return your bird and my skull, that would be ideal. They won't survive the void on their own. Also, cover Attikus along the way. He's more important than the bird and the skull. And he's just taking pot shots at Nids around the edge of the room.
All right. Then, yes, sir. And she is, oh man, now she's like mounted turret because she's up on Eli's shoulder with a sniper rifle. But yeah, I think taking her turn to basically, now that the static and everything is gone, get Toby and Eugene back towards the bridge to where the ship is. Make sure they're steered that way.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's totally reasonable. All right, Valentyne, you mentioned that you're covering Attikus's escape. I assume you're doing so while falling back.
Oh, yeah,
bridge?
he's not staying where he is. He's moving backwards, no question. But he's also got to get Kotov backwards. So it's like grab Kotov, shove him towards the bridge, and then just shoot around Attikus at anything getting the closest to him.
Okay, great. So Attikus, this brings us to you. I'm basically going to treat Valentyne and Morgan as boosts to your role here.
Okay.
What I'm going to want is, I think we're going to just call this a straight melee situation. And it's basically like, if we're looking at this visually, it's like Attikus just fucking linebacker running towards the bridge as these things leap at you.
All right.
And we're just going to take it as one roll, but it's one roll to determine kind of how this sequence, this cutscene plays out.
Okay.
As it were. So melee. So just two purple. I will spend a story point to jack it to a red and a purple.
And I'm going to as well because Attikus can't fail now. I think he thinks that as well.
Yep.
Just like, we just killed this thing. I'm not going to get taken down by some minions.
Punks.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm going to give you a setback for the mag boots. They're just slowing you down a little bit on your sprint. I'm going to give you a boost for Valentyne and a boost for Morgan.
Got it. Okay. All right, ready to roll.
That's it.
Triumph, 3 successes, 2 advantage. Toot toot. Here comes the pain train, baby.
All right. So you begin to kind of like brawl your way forward, and it's just like, Nids jumping on you and just like smashing their heads together. Like, I think just like keeping the power fist ready, like using it kind of as a shield as you go, but just like not wanting to like waste the big swing.
Yeah.
So just like smacking guys around. And then as everyone kind of collectively falls back to the bridge, fire shooting over your shoulders from both Valentyne and Morgan. I think finally, like, a big, hefty, kind of brutish thing is clearly like a guy with a frame like yours in life that's been fused with carapace leaps up onto your arm and starts like trying to claw down at your head. And through the blood and the exhaustion, a small smile forms on your face. Because outside, at distance, you can see the Marnie song pulling around in front of the viewport and kind of like pulling in. And you can see that the bay doors are open. So you're just waiting for this opportunity. So you grab the guy over your shoulder and with your triumph, just fucking throw that fucker through the viewport. So like right through the center of the icon of chaos. It's written in blood there, just like with your power fist coming too. So it's like that Scott Pilgrim punch where it's like the body like softens it for your fist, damage it. Fist comes through, cracks through the ancient damaged viewport. And collectively you just kind of like blast out into space, making that short kind of leap across from the bridge. My only question, of course, is Cora. I don't think from what you said, Valentyne, that you guys would stop your pace to like go grab her from downstairs.
We're exposed to the fucking void. We'll die if we do it. No. This was time to run. She gets to bridge. She gets to run.
Fair enough. So let me see if she get to bridge and she get to run, as you put it. I'm going to say the ship is close enough that this is an unpleasant void experience, but with all of your gear, it's mitigated enough that we're not like...
Yeah.
You're not super fucked up about it. Okay, let's do it. Oh, man, this is such a bad fucking roll for her. Ooh.
I mean, she's basically been on her own for what, like 6 rounds? Like,
yeah. Oh no, that's not great. That's that nets out to a failure and a setback. So, you're out. You kind of like look back as the door slam, kind of like look back through the viewport. And all you see is just like a hand kind of come up and slam a button, just like shutting the emergency shutter over the grate that she was down. So some evidence that she's still kicking, but also that she is committing to the cause. But of course, none of you are alto or lyric, so this matters less, aside from perhaps Morgan, who, a few more feels, looking out through the viewport as the Marnie song begins to pull away just before you kind of lose consciousness from your void experience. You just see some members of your crew, including Rawls, just drifting sort of through the void behind you. And Rawls has like a nid impaled on each arm. And it's not like she's like smiling or like looking at you or anything. She's just like very dead and a horrible mutated monster. But you can see that at least she went down with some semblance of herself, which is more than you'd hoped from her original fate. And Attikus, you're on the brink.
I sure am.
You're exhausted. You are bloodied. You have arrived. Eli, I think like you probably landed the best from this, which is still badly, but like you knew how to tuck, like if you have to eject yourself into the void for a hot sec, this is the best way. You have 4 seconds or whatever the fuck until you die. Make the most of it.
Dude, it's all about aiming. It's all about that leap. You aim and
so you're like slammed up against the back wall. And I think probably like a deep throaty chuckle before you like black out just from it worked. This is not a maneuver you can try. Or you fucked up enough about not getting Cainhurst that there would be no mirth for you.
I mean, it's unsettling that he didn't get to like kill, like destroy him, but also he's pissed that not everyone made it out.
No throaty chuckle, just a sad, grim look before passing out. Valentyne, your last glimpse before you succumb is just like you could swear that you see the Aquila, which you always thought you would see before you went down. But the Aquila doesn't tend to have like a rocket booster behind it. And a skull slams into you at high speed, dropped from the Aquila, which also, again, kind of standard for an Aquila, but also not. And Eugene just kind of hits you before Toby hits the wall above you with a robotic like before like clunking down beside you. But the important thing is your head is intact, which was of high concern.
Yeah, I was going to say, he pats Eugene on the head, and then he pats Kotov on the head.
Yeah.
And then if everybody's passing out, he also passes out.
Yeah, Kotov, like, shakily holds up the bag of shit, and then passes out, and then the bag hits him in the head because he was holding it above his head. And as for you, Attikus, like, bruised, bloody, your face is, like, torn to shreds, your glasses are broken, you're laying there, and, like, you still manage to do your duty, though. You still manage to keep everyone safe.
Yeah.
And you're kind of embracing the darkness as it approaches. Which is why it just fucking sucks that Grimly manages to kind of appear over you and be like, "Oh, hey there, sir. Glad you made it. You're looking a little rough." And the last thing you see and hear before you pass out is that stupid motherfucker just looking down at you, not on the bridge where he probably should be.
The hand just coming up to grab him and shake some sense into him, but the strength leaves me and I lose consciousness.
And with that, the darkness takes you. Captain's log from Grimly Moody. Holy shit, it worked. You have all awoken back aboard the Marnie's Song. And you're a little bit worse for wear, but also not dead or eaten by a horrible Tyranid monster. So you do have a bit of time as Grimly kind of pulls the ship back into the asteroid field, away from the rending and shattering husk of the Mercy for the Pure that is just venting dead hybrids into space at a somewhat alarming rate. He's pulled back out to sort of the edge of the field where it's safe. And over the next little while, you're able to recover and kind of regroup before making your way to sort of your next port of call. As always, with kind of our interstitial adventures on Valentyne Heresy, I kind of want to treat this as like a series of days rather than just like you all wake up. What's the first thing you do? Just because there is, you all are pretty fucked up. And I think it's safe to say that like your days aren't super long at first. There's obviously some recovery. But as you start to get kind of more and more mobile, you do more and more things. So I just kind of want to hear what all of you would want to do sort of in the immediate aftermath, and then kind of once things are a little bit more settled, and then we can figure out our next steps from there. Because obviously you have some evidence, you've had some adventures, and you've got some stuff to sort out.
Eli really wants to get his DNA tested to figure out if there's any Tyranid shit in there because Cainhurst is crazy.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Okay, so first stop for Eli is Tyranid testing?
Yes.
Fair enough. Yep. What is everyone else about?
I would say one of the first things that Morgan wants to do is sneak through the vents and get into Cora's room and look through all of Cora's shit. And take some of Cora's shit and also look for the drugs, because in Morgan's mind, she lied to Valentyne he bought it. So if she gets rid of all of the drugs, then she didn't lie to him. Like, it was true what she said.
Okay.
And also, she's kind of being a creeper because that's how she expresses her feelings, is she wants to keep stuff of Cora's because she had sort of semi-feelings about it, and her way of coping with that is just to take people's stuff, like trophy style.
Awesome. Attikus?
Attikus is going to need some new glasses, and he's also eager to know what the next mission is, and also what the fuck all that was about. Like, just an explainer, a little catch-up on Cainhurst would be fantastic, because that was not the man he was led to believe they were looking for.
Cool. And Valentyne?
Oh, you think Valentyne only wants to do one thing? It's my boy. He's got big thoughts. He would... First things first is getting the mission back on track. He would like to find out if there's any chance Cora is still alive, and if so, organize a chance to send people over in proper void suits to try to get Cora out, because we did see her close a grate. So step one is, if she's alive, get her the fuck out of there, or recover a body. Either of those things will make him sleep better at night than not. He would want to make sure that the ship is sweeping the area to pick up all those fucking pods that were inside. The power went out, but they theoretically had to have their own units because they weren't plugged into the main ship. So those all seemed useful to Kotov and Valentyne. He wants everything he can get there. Then it's just looking at the evidence. Definitely probably working with Kotov on anything that was lifted, any systems that they had access to, anything else that can kind of be torn out. Then he would also require that he and Morgan go through a whole bunch of religious mortification with the priest, because we were exposed to a bunch of weird psyker shit that was active enough to scramble Tyranids. So I'm not saying that he knows that there was anything about any checks passed or failed, but he just following the rules on, like, make the religious man make you do all the bad things to make sure that you're still good. Cool. And then last but not least, once that's all done, just fucking burn every ounce of anything Cainhurst ever created. This abomination cannot lead to future people thinking this is a good idea, so everything's gotta go.
Okay. Attikus will help with that.
We will go about those in the order that you've outlined. We will see how successful you are at burning all the space bodies.
Yep, that's fine. They can also just get directed towards the sun and let to kind of play out. That's the worst case scenario.
Fair enough. Okay. So let's we can just well, you know what? Fuck it. Let's roll some initiative. Let's see where everyone falls.
Oh, okay.
On their order, just because your order may actually weirdly matter for certain creepers amongst you moving through the vents.
Oh no.
Not, pointing any fingers, of course. You can definitely take either for this one, because it's whatever your best one is. You're only fighting each other.
Eli got an advantage.
Nice.
We're just rolling with 0 difficulty, Tom, right? It's just total successes? Yeah. Okay.
Attikus got 2 successes and 3 advantage.
Ooh.
3 successes and 1 advantage for Valentyne.
Morgan got 3 successes, 3 advantages.
All right. So
damn.
Looks like Morgan, Attikus, Valentyne, Eli, is that correct? Or did I
think I had
up?
1 more success than Attikus.
All right. Valentyne.
Yeah.
All right. So Morgan, you are up first. Let's get your Metal Gear on. See if you can find a Meryl working out or something to stare at.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead with a stealth or a skullduggery. I would take either one. I'm gonna say difficulty of 1. no one's really looking for you to be doing any of this stuff, and everyone's kind of hurt and distracted. Also, the crew is still very small, so it's not like there's like, it's not like, like a Star Trek cutaway where there's just a bunch of folks in suits walking by. It really is kind of like you guys plus the very limited staff you've brought with you. So go ahead.
All right. Yeah. And she has stuff to pick locks, but she knows how to get through the vents and can just drop into that room and not even need to deal with doors or hallways or people. Oh my gosh. Shit the bed. 3 advantages. That's it. On an insane roll.
Oh, man.
Okay. So I'm going to put a pin in that, and we're going to see
with Cora things.
Yeah, we're gonna see what goes on with everyone else before we come back to you. Okay, Valentyne. What is your? I assume your top priority is the priest. Like, where
top
would you
priority
start?
would be Cora. That's a person who could be still alive, who deserves to be rescued if they are still alive, or confirmed dead if not.
Okay.
And then it's recovery of pods floating around in space because they're going to keep getting further away and worse.
Yeah.
Then self-mortification, like
roll
flagellation.
me, Ryan. I think we're gonna. Can you roll me a resilience check, please?
Sure.
So that's resilience and brawn. You took damage during combat, yeah?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so there's going to be difficulty 4. I'm going to spend a story point to jack it up. So 1 red, 3 purple. This is a check to see how quickly you recovered from both the combat injuries and the exposure to the void, to see what state the Mercy for the Pure is by the time you're able to start giving orders. So I would say that you can use your combat hardened, like unshakable against dazed and that sort of thing. It's supposed to knock, 2 setback off?
That sounds right. Where is the rule? One setback is removed.
Okay. Since I'm not giving you any setback for that, I'll let you take that as a boost.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it from my end, I think.
I will use a story point to represent the benefaction of the Emperor and also his general paranoia around everything Cora, because I think that can wake him up. The pods will just keep floating. It just takes longer to recover them. Cora is slightly more urgent.
I'll also give you one more boost because I feel like Thaddeus Thunderhorn would be working on you more than the others, given that you are the Inquisitor aboard the ship. Plus, he likes you. You've been real nice to him. So that would, of course, never interfere with his whatever the dark version of the Hippocratic Oath is, which is probably like the Emperor's Skull Throne Promise or whatever the shit. But he knows who he should save if he can only save one.
Okay, then let's see what happens. Oh, that is so weird. A triumph, 2 failures, and a threat.
Buh.
The Valentyne special.
That's fucked up. Okay. Okay, you know what? I need all of you to make the same check for me, please. Before I can determine the results of Ryan's check.
Cool.
God. All of these are just weird, like, intercut nonsense rolls. I apologize.
So resilience check?
Yeah, resilience check against difficulty of 4. I can't possibly spend
3
that many
purple
story
and
points.
1 red, right?
No, I can't spend that many story points. So it's just 4 purple for
4 purple?
all of you.
I have 2 successes, 2 advantage.
I have 1 threat.
Okay.
1 success, 4 advantage.
Okay. So Attikus and Eli, you come to first. I don't think either of you would have issued an order to go after Cora. Do you disagree?
No?
I don't disagree.
Okay. I feel like if it was Morgan, we would probably have a pretty solid case. But I don't think, yeah. Okay.
The people we know who are alive in front of us are the priority.
I think where Atticus's background of his service so far is like that person's left behind. That's up to them.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Great.
move on.
Okay. So with all that in mind, Ryan, you don't wake up super early with the 3 failures, but you do get a triumph. So I'm kind of curious what we want to do about that. I think I'm going to say that a few, let's say 3 days have passed since you got off the ship. Attikus and Eli, you woke up 2 days afterward. But Valentyne and Morgan, it took you another day to kind of shake it off. With that in mind, a bunch of things have happened to and around the Mercy's Pure between now and then, or the Mercy for the Pure between now and then. Ryan, to your mind, like, what would you ideally want to spend your triumph on, knowing that I'm going to temper it with what I know has happened between now and then on the ship?
Yeah, see, I think logically and narratively with like the Emperor's beneficence and all the things that are going on in Valentyne's life, I don't think this triumph applies to Cora. I think that's just the order he would give when he wakes up. Yeah. I think it's about the investigation and the ongoing work. Like, it's just like, oh, Kotov has done very well with what's been discovered is kind of where I would see that paying
Fair
off.
Enough. So we'll say, yeah, he's made strides then with the stuff. So basically, rather than you having to roll a bunch of investigative shit, he's just been like working on it. Because I think he actually does bounce back pretty quickly just because he's like more machine than man.
And uninjured.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. So you do send out teams. However, the pods, a bunch of the pods are recoverable. The various bits of that ship that keep exploding are making getting anywhere near it a real concern. So because of what Cainhurst brought aboard, things he'd scrapped, as well as just the ancient architecture of it, it is an unstable and unpleasant space to get anywhere near without some serious threats to your admittedly small ship, which makes recovery efforts somewhat difficult. That said, upon your waking, a Grimly does kind of bring you in a bit closer to kind of see what can be seen. And there are no life signs being picked up from sort of distance scans. If you want to try and recover the body, a mission could be mounted, but all the sensors are suggesting that this is you'd be putting the Marnie song at risk to try and get much closer than you currently can.
Yeah, if the scans say it's down. Cora's funeral will be taking place at noon today in the midst of the ships. The scans are negative for life signs, even faint, and moving any closer will risk the rest of us, which we cannot allow to take place. Everyone bring a moment of remembrance and open your hearts to the Emperor. Frankly, she won the race to beat us to him. Good for her.
All right, so that resolves the question of Cora and the pods. Cool. Okay.
So pods recoverable, Cora not recoverable. So we follow those.
Yeah, because a lot of the pods, to your point, drifted away from the ship, so it's easy to kind of like pick through the wreckage at distance. It's basically just like the Hulk is a constant nightmare of like occasionally like some plasma coil will blow and just like knock space shrapnel in every direction. And because we're not nimble like Galactica fighters with like lots of thrust, it's just kind of do you want to get close to the constantly exploding shrapnel bomb in space? You can, but bad news bears. Not impossible, just unpleasant. Okay. Attikus and Eli, you woke up early, so I think we're going to move to yours before we figure out if anyone saw Morgan, and I think this might actually help resolve this for me. So, Eli, let's start with you. You awake, and of course, with concerns that you might have weird Tyranid shit in you, you make your way to Dr. Thaddeus Thunderhorn.
Where do we wake up? Have we just been?
You've been tended to. Like,
okay.
It's not like they just left you in the cargo bay. Yeah. Like, whatever, you'll be fine. Like they clearly recovered you, have treated your wounds. Okay. You've been like administered to for a couple of days with fluids and everything else to kind of like bring your bodies back from void, damaged brink of death. Even if you were healthy from the combat, being exposed to vacuum for a couple minutes is not a treat. But 40K medical science may not be pleasant, but it is effective sometimes. So, you kind of like wake up probably in your quarters, honestly, having been administered to and kind of put there to rest.
Eli marches at full speed with purpose to Thaddeus Thunderhorns.
What is it like approaching the heretical Beastman doctor or just over it because you need his services?
Don't care. Gotta know. This is so much more important than whatever he's doing here.
Your personal biases.
Here. Yeah.
All right, cool. So you storm in and he's busy like looking at Valentyne's charts. And he just kind of is slightly startled and like quickly kisses his Aquila necklace, and he turns and just says, yes, Mr. Sharp, you're up.
Did everyone survive?
I'm afraid that the interrogator did not return with you. Cora, our visiting xenobiologist.
Okay. Everyone else
sect?
Is fine.
But yes, I mean, I've done some extensive.
Okay. And then Eli just like he goes over to like whatever bed is in like the infirmary.
It's well. I mean,
bay.
like Kotov's been working on it, man. It's well stocked, if a little spooky.
Yeah. He just goes down. It's like lays down on it. Just like test me for Tyranid DNA right now.
Oh, and like all sense of kind of like the vaguely whimsical like. Don't hurt me. I'm just a friendly beast man hanging out with you. Drops away. Because honestly, like this is his own concern about his own biology. Like you've touched on something he cares deeply about. So just very meticulously, he immediately kind of rolls over a big gnarly looking machine of like needles and other very spiky bits. I don't think there's a single round shape other than skulls and shoulder pads in the 40K universe. So like there's nothing pleasant here. And he says, I will do my best, although I admit this may also be a task for Dr. Kotov, but do you trust him enough to assist me in this task, or do you simply require
I don't trust his motives. I mean, I don't trust you, but
that is for the
more
best.
Than
I
him.
am an abomination. Kiss the rosette. Okay, so I'm gonna roll for Thaddeus and see how he does. I was sitting here looking at my boost, being like, does he get a boost from you just talking him through what he should be looking for? You're no xenobiologist. You don't got this. All right.
That advice began and ended with Tyranid DNA.
Yeah.
Okay. I got 2 failures and 2 advantage, which is kind of fucked up. So he does what tests he can, and he is legitimately mad. He does that like doctor in a movie thing where they're told there's a patient they can't save, where he like slams his hand down on one of the little side tables, just denting it with his sort of massive strength. And he just says, "Throne's blessings. I can't. It's Mr. Sharp. I know you don't trust Dr. Kotov, but unfortunately, his particular branch of heretical science.
Oh, how hard is it? You take the blood, you put it in the thing, and it spins, and you compare it to the DNA, whatever you just do it.
I wasn't aware there was a trained medicae aboard other than myself. Perhaps you would like to spin it." And he like just fucking spins the blood. You can tell he is very frustrated with this situation, but now also with you.
Yeah, no, do not talk to me like that. shut your mouth, get Kotov here.
And you just hear him like muttering something about skull-thrown oaths as he angrily kisses his Aquila.
Oh, Eli does not have time for him to waste time to be angry. This fucking...
Well, Dr. Thaddeus Thunderhorn doesn't have a lot of time for people who aren't Valentyne right now. So he kind of turns on his heel and just mutters to himself as he leaves, like, this will be in my report to the Inquisitor. And he storms off down the hall. Eli, you are left in your least favorite place in perhaps the entire galaxy, alone, sober, in a room with your thoughts. And we will loop back around to how that's working for you in a moment. Attikus, you've awoken. Of course, I'm sure. Quick check to make sure that your Inquisitor survived. He did. What is your kind of like? I know you mentioned your glasses, next mission debrief, but given that Valentyne is required for 2 of those 3.
Yeah.
Is there any investigation you would do in the meantime, or would you just kind of wait for him to come to?
He'd want to know what our current status is, if we need to be on high alert for anything like that. Are we obliterating any like tyrannid remains that we find in space or anything like that? What of the bloated floating corpse of Cainhurst kind of thing? He would want all of that information. So he's just marching around with his vision somewhat blurry because he doesn't have any glasses, trying to get answers. So he's going to everyone who was conscious and aboard while everyone else was out.
So they've done good work on you, but it is still kind of like field dressed. So
I imagine like bandages and like his flesh arm and like a sling and stuff like that.
Yeah, you've got a ton of stitches, but like heavily bandaged face. Okay. So Grimly fills you in on kind of the situation, and essentially, due to the unstable nature of the still exploding Hulk, we're basically at distance, like a safe distance away. And anything that floats by, he's just been blasting. So a few pods also got shot before Valentyne woke up. But as we established, there were an awful lot. So it's a negligible loss. However, he has been keeping distance because like the thing is an unstable nightmare fest.
Right.
Yeah. So in terms of the corpse of Cainhurst, again, danger close to get in there, but that is a fairly significant thing. I guess the question for you is, would you be not capable, would you give that order before Valentyne woke up, or would you want to confer with him?
Boots on the ground facing an enemy, that's more Attikus's wheelhouse. He's so out of his depth here. I think just with this most recent report about what we can do, but the inherent risks, he'll just kind of take it all in and say, the Inquisitor will know what to do. We'll wait for his recovery.
All right. So having accomplished that, it's time for some glasses. Here's the question. Are you going to Thaddeus Thunderhorn, or are you going to Gideon Kotov?
I'm going to Thaddeus Thunderhorn because he's in the like med lab or whatever, taking care of Valentyne, and I think Eli's probably in there also. And Attikus is just going through all the drawers, just looking for glasses. Just like like the glasses that he has had and has broken many times over are like just sort of like standard issue, like junk glasses. That's why it's okay for him to wear them and lose them. So he's just looking for a spare pair. He's just going through drawers.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're at a bit of a disadvantage here because this ship was never properly stocked as a
lens crafters.
Sorry?
As a lens crafters, he said. Yeah.
Yes, very good. Yeah, there's a Zenny.com.
Optical man myself, but anyway.
Yeah, you can go try on some Warby Parker frames in a mirror, and then like in 6 to 8 weeks you'll get them, and then realize they don't fit your face.
Warby Parker. That's what it is in the 40K universe.
Oh.
Warpy Parker.
Oof. Yeah, and on Orc Planets, Wobby Parker. You know, there's options.
Oh.
Unfortunately, there aren't. I know exactly the kind of classes you're talking about. There just aren't any on here because there should be realistically, but because it's never been stocked for those purposes, there isn't. However, Billingberg, being a man of refined taste, certainly had a small case that has been just added to the general medical bay. In which is a low prescription monocle. So I think like for the short term, you can have like a monocle on like an incredibly expensive golden chain that's probably got some like proper steampunk like flourishes around it. It would definitely like fit in higher society. You get the sense he probably used it as a prop more than an actual optical aid. However, it gives you enough that you can like squint and kind of get a better vision of like you're still not seeing super clearly, but it's better.
Okay. You must be the Monopoly guy. Okay.
Do not pass Ultramar. Do not gain 200 thrones.
Attikus, in what might on the outside seem like an uncharacteristic kind of uncharacteristically cooperative nature with the doctor who's you just said.
Thunderhorn?
Thank you. Thunderhorn, Dr. Thunderhorn. Will be assisting him in any way he can, but it's really to just make sure he doesn't fuck around with Valentyne and Eli and that he can be there right when Valentyne wakes up.
Okay, fair enough. So you probably witness the storm off then, just like as you're arriving.
Yeah.
So Eli, you're briefly left as like Attikus and Thunderhorn cross paths in the hall, alone with your thoughts. So I do want to know like what's eating Eli in this moment alone in the medical room.
Eli's pissed off. He's impatient. He'd really like some stiff musk, but fuck, he also doesn't want his mind to be clouded. Fuck.
Fair enough. At which point Attikus comes in and loots around for glasses.
Yeah,
Good timing.
comes in like, what was his problem? Just referencing Thunderhorn.
He's not as good at his job as he should be.
Did he do anything to you?
No, that's the point.
He didn't do nothing.
No, he's useless.
Huh. Well, what's the matter with you? You look all right. For the most part.
Yeah, let's just hope I don't have goddamn Tyranid DNA in me. Cainhurst.
What do you mean?
And it becomes unintelligible.
Oh no, hold on. What do you mean? Tyranid DNA? What was that?
You saw those pieces of mutants. Those. You know how long Morgan and I were with Cainhurst? Who knows what he did?
Oh,
You should probably get the hell away.
Well, you should be quarantined. You're not going to lie in a bed beside the Inquisitor if you've got Tyranid stuff in you.
No, you're right. Oh, you're
I'm
right.
going to march you to your quarters right now.
Yes, just stay back.
And with that,
And Eli will leave and like march to his own quarters.
Fair enough. And Attikus, you quarantine him in there. Yep. A very confused Gideon Kotov shows up like a minute later to an empty room and is like, well, now I'm just talking to myself. Before kind of like just turning on his heel and going back to the lab. But time goes on. Morgan wakes up. Valentyne wakes up. Valentyne, you get the news that the pods are recoverable. Core isn't. You announce the funeral. And finally, we're all kind of up and about. Attikus, I feel like you would be the one most likely to catch Morgan in the act since she's in the vents and you're kind of not having an existential crisis about whether or not you're a hybrid.
Yeah. I think Morgan wakes up in her quarters to find that her door doesn't open. And that's why she goes into the vents, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
It's because Attikus is like, oh, well, I don't know what any of this shit means, but you're not allowed in until Doctor takes a look at you.
All right, fair enough. So maybe we'll say that's the fails that Morgan, you actually can't get caught out here because technically you're in quarantine, but you just don't know it. Would you have tried the door when you woke up?
Yeah, probably. And then realize that it was locked and screw it. I'm going to try and
Okay.
Go through Cora's stuff.
Valentyne, can you please roll me I think just perception.
Cool.
We're going to say difficulty of, I don't know, 2. You're not actively listening for a Morgan in the vents, but you might happen to hear one. I'm not going to spend any story points to make your life easier, Del, but you can spend one to make your life easier if you want.
Whatever happens, happens, man. This is just gut instinct over here.
All right, Valentyne, how about you?
I think his focus would be elsewhere, so I wouldn't use the story point for this.
Fair enough.
Let's see what happens. 1 triumph, 2 advantage.
Oh. She shouldn't have worn those tap shoes. Yeah, you absolutely hear rumbling in the vent. And then I think the sound of someone dropping into Cora's room.
Well, if it helps, story-wise, I guess an easy way to pin it would be that she would be trying to go through Cora's stuff to distract herself. But while unconscious, probably had terrible nightmares. So you probably just hear a crying Morgan is coming from Cora's room.
Yeah, I think he also realistically would have set it off if they were going to have to send you through a bunch of tests. He'd let Attikus lock you in your room, but the moment you touch the door, he would set up a chime to be like, okay, now I can walk Morgan over to go get her DNA tested to make sure we're clear. Only then he hears like crying and thumping from Cora's room instead of yours. He just opens the door. What does he see?
He would see just Morgan sitting with her knees pulled up backed into a corner with her hands over like Left 4 Dead witch style, just sitting in a corner crying. But as soon as she hears the door open, she would try to stop and just be like, I'm sitting in a corner. Act casual.
Like a normal person.
Yeah, I think Valentyne would step into the room and close the door and sit down as well. And then not look at you, just look into the distance because he is very not equipped to have any sort of emotional conversation. And just be like, I understand that you cared about Cora more than was appropriate. So it is appropriate that you mourn both her passing and your failure. But she died, as the Emperor willed it, as I willed it, and as was your mission. And in the way that she died, she became an Imperial hero, sacrificing herself to save our party and defeat a great evil, meaning no souls were stained with her loss, and great heroism was achieved in her death. I may have been incorrect about Cora, but the Emperor took her with him into the great endless war against the dark.
Morgan will kind of wipe her face and look up from beneath her hair. It's all mussed. And I told you she was useful.
And you were correct. Now I will take any of the writings kept in this place and any other significant inquisitorial requirements, if there's a rosette, if there's anything else like that. But once I walk those out of here, along with the illicit drugs that I know she was hiding, you may loot whatever you please. I'll give you a few minutes to crawl back through the vents and return to your room so Attikus does not threaten both of our lives. And then we need to scan your DNA to ensure there is no Tyranid remnants inside you.
Yes, Inquisitor, that's fair.
Depending on how the evidence comes in, you may have discharged your obligation to me and to the Inquisition. I hope you will give your future some thought.
Inquisitor. She's still like wiping her eyes.
And he'll just reach into his coat and just take out a handkerchief, and it's just got like a little, LV in the corner with a laurel wreath behind it, and just offer it to you.
Oh, yeah, she'll definitely take that. And not looking at him, but you, in the heat of battle, you are very good at your job.
Well, thank you. I was trained by the Schola Progenium, and I served the Emperor. But everyone carried out their duties most finely. The kill shot, I believe, was yours.
Yes, and good riddance. I'm glad to leave him and that ship and all of that behind us.
Yes, I will do my best to make sure it's hurled into the sun of this abominable system, or at least smashed apart by all of the asteroids.
I would like to see it. And I'm certain that Eli enjoyed the adventure as well, but I think you are a better Inquisitor than Cainhurst ever was, and, well, I would like to stay if you would have me.
Yes, I will.
Inquisitor.
Interrogator. And he will turn and exit.
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter as Attikus Viz, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter as Eli Sharp, Del Borovic at Deltastic on Twitter as Morgan Rawls, and our Game Master Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com, DELBOROVIC. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ads use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. We have merchandise available at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, and most importantly, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. The Half-Blind Prophet, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, OMG It's Big Nick, D&D and Things, Norma Byers, Schrodinger's Pepper, Guy Edwards, Flea Unit, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Melissa Rain, Nithrian, Garbo Ape, Locke, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.